You do a lot of remixes.
Mm-hmm.
How many remixes do you think you've done? Have you ever calculated up until this point?
No, I haven't. That's a good question because I actually thought about doing that earlier today. If I took a guess, I would say about a good 20 to 25 within the past since I really blew up, since Chirac Remix. I say about a good 20.
Was that the first remix that made the most waves?
Yes, that's really the remix that blew me up because everybody was making a Chirac remix, and a lot of people even had head starts on mine, but mine just blew everybody out of the water number-wise. Like, you type up Chirac, I'll pop up first before anybody, so it's like that almost became my song, you know.
What did you think made yours stand out from everybody else's on that particular remix?
Well, the level of creativity as well as the rage that I had on the song, you know. I feel like that was set apart. That's what really set me apart from, oh, he's not another Chicago rapper. Like, drill really isn't known for having metaphors and, you know, creativity and stuff in it like that. And then it just, I don't know, it just took me next level, you know. Yeah, so basically the creativity.
I see. Now, when it comes to the remixes, how often do you release one?
The past 2 years, I believe I dropped one every 5 to 6 months now in the past 2 years. And 2014, 2015, I was dropping a lot of them, maybe like every 2, 3 months then. And recently I've been cutting back on them and trying to really work more on my original stuff.
Why cutting back on them? Is that because fans don't want to hear them as much, or?
No, fans always requesting it. It's just that, like, I'm really making money off of music now. You know, like, I remember back when, you know, me and Tally used to make Guns N' Roses mixtapes, and we didn't have producers, you know, to make us anything original. So that's really how we was making a name for ourselves. We would do what Lil Wayne was doing, which was rapping off, you know, industry beats. But that's how we gained our respect, was because we were basically showing people that we could rap off these famous people beats and either match them or do better than them on their own beats. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, that's nothing new to me. You know what I'm saying? Rapping off remixes. But then it's like, after I blew up after Chirac and I started getting money, I'm doing shows, I'm moving around now, and I'm getting booked. It's like I'm really seeing checks and making money off these lyrics and these bars, off of my choice of words and how my mind works. So now it's like I'm giving away free bars, free lyrics every time I do a remix. And I do that specifically for my fans because that's kind of what got me started. You know what I'm saying? I'm showing my appreciation to them. But at the same time, that's like free money. You know, I could use that for an album and see a check off there for the rest of my life. So I try to save some of it and, you know, use it more of my own original music and not just give so much away for free.
You may get stuff intangibly, though, when it comes to followers, new fans, and they may spend eventually.
It's great exposure, and it's always good to do those hot popping songs at concerts too, turn the crowd up and stuff like that.
At this point, are you strategic with the remixes as far as the release of them? Like, is it on purpose once every 6 months, or are you just going based on the vibe and how you feel?
I've been doing that for the past 2 years, like I said. But now it's kind of like almost, if the demand is super high, then it's like, okay, it's time, you know. So I kind of do it like that.
How do you pick which record to remix?
I see tweets and mentions and comments all the time. So when I just see certain names, because I really don't listen to anybody else's music, and when I just see a name like, for instance, the Gummo remix by Dude 6ix9ine, and it's like, what the fuck is Gummo? You know, I keep seeing people saying Gummo, Gummo. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm seeing this everywhere. So it's like that. Like once I see that, like at a high rate, then that's when I'll be like, okay, let me go check this song out. And I see, oh, bam. Got 40-something million views, you know, such and such, such and such. Just why they talking about that. Oh, listen to the beat, listen to the flow, the dude. It's like, oh, I kill this, you know. easily. You know what I'm saying? So it's just certain things like that. That's really how it is all the time.
When it comes to freestyles and remixes, the game has changed. In the last few years especially. 5-10 years ago, when DJs used to get single releases, whether it was on vinyl or compact disc, a DJ would get the clean version, explicit version, instrumental, maybe even the a cappella to the song.
Right.
Nowadays, the instrumentals to songs aren't really released anymore.
Right. Yeah,
What do you feel about that? How do you feel about that from both perspectives? Maybe the artist standpoint and, you know, the opposite.
Maybe now, you know, after seeing it happen so long, you might have people that's actually scared of other artists, you know, outdoing them on their songs and stuff like that. And maybe today some people really don't appreciate, you know, that DJ artist bond, you know, really how they used to back in the day, you know. I know you got other artists, I mean, you got people out there that'll make, you know, upload the beat and it's not the actual beat or it's not the actual producer.
It's a remake.
So it's, exactly, and it's the closest thing that people like me who want to, you know, might want to rap off that beat, it's the closest thing they'll get to it, you know, so that'll get their channel a lot of views, a lot of clicks, you know, stuff like that. So at the end of the day, kind of like everything else in the music, everything changes, you know, so you have to, you know, learn how to work around it or work with it.
Now, with your music, have you ever released instrumentals to your stuff?
Yes.
You have?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
And what's the mentality behind that?
I just, I usually see a high demand of it, you know, or, I mean, I don't actually release them myself. I think it's the producers who made the beat. You know, I think they're the ones that's actually doing it. So I've seen it a few times, you know, and I've had a few producers that I text personally and said, you know, people steady saying, you know, put this beat out, so, you know, you might want to do that.
So you're not opposed to letting your own instrumentals go for somebody possibly out there that may want to remix your stuff?
No, not at all, not at all.
Now, when it comes to these remade beats, some are really close to, as possible, to sounding like the real thing, and some are far off.
Right.
Do you try to stay at one, okay, let's say there's a song you really like, or there's people requesting you to remix a certain song, but the only remake, it doesn't sound very good, or maybe the quality's not that good. Do you do you stay away from it because the made up beat isn't as good? Or
I would stay away from it, and I might check back every once in a while to see if somebody has put up something better, you know, or you see the thumbs down and stuff a little too much, you know, then it's like you want to go compare yourself and then see. So I would recommend that, or that's what I would do. Stay away from it.
So okay, so you choose something that is getting a lot of popularity, and the quality of that remade beat has to be as best as it could be. Now, from doing all these remixes, what's the feedback you've gotten from, if any, from the original artists' songs you've touched?
The majority of them, I don't hear anything from them. But I've had a few people like Fetty Wap and, you know, Post Malone and T Grizzly reach out like, you know, you killed that, and you did that, or you snapped, you know, stuff like that. So it's cool. It's all love. That's
what led to a collab with you and Fetty Wap?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the first thing he said. He said the line, I got a text out of the blue, it just said, I ball out, no Fetty Wap, man, you went crazy, you know. And then I put laugh out loud, you know, thanks, no offense, by the way. He's like, man, none taken, you know. He's like, you know, the lyric-wise, he like, man, you got this shit, you know. He like, man, I really just like to get on shit and vibe, you know. I'm like, yeah, I feel you, that's what's up. But he cool dude. Shout out to Fetty too, man.
Now, when it comes to the music industry, when Lil Wayne was coming out with his Dedication series and around there, a lot of people were still freestyling on other people's beats, jacking for beats, that type of thing. You don't really see that too much these days. Do you think that is because the real instrumentals aren't out there like that? Or do you think that's because the listeners and consumers' ears want to hear original music instead of people jacking for beats or freestyling on other people's beats? How do you view that?
I really feel like it's the mumble rap that's really came about, you know, it's like back then people was like, oh, have you heard Wayne remix or this person remix? It's like they was all using lyrics, like really real words, you know, displaying real words, you know. And now it's just like, you know, the mumble shit is like you got to come with a little sauce or some shit that's never been heard, a little jingle, little lingo, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. And it's like they can't just come over any beat and do any type of mumble. Like, who's gonna go listen to a remix that's been dumbed down? You know what I'm saying? It's like that's kind of really unheard of, you know. That's like, you don't hear nobody like, oh, somebody just went and did remixed. Like a mumble rapper couldn't go remix Lil Wayne 6'7" or a Millie and you're not talking about nothing. You see what I'm saying? So it's like when Wayne was coming over beats doing things, these words, these lyrics are probably deeper or creatively deeper than the original song. You see what I'm saying? Or has more art to it, you know. So I just feel like that's really what it is. It's like we're in the time of the mumble rap where, you know, the real lyricism isn't that much appreciated or that valued, you know.
Do you think that is the listeners wanting this, craving this, asking for this, or do you think this is a sound that artists have come up with and other artists are seeing the success of some mumble rappers, so they're doing it too, and now it's a wave? How do you view that?
Yeah, I feel like it's a wave, and they're seeing it come along. And you know, people in the world, they love ease. You know, whatever comes as ease. Like, hey, I can do that. You know, you remember when he had the lean with it, rock with it, and then, you know, producers were like, hey, I could make snap music. You know, like that's kind of easy. You know, and it's like the snap music was almost, it didn't really have to be lyrical. You know, like, but you had to understand what they're talking about. But it was kind of more surfaced rap. You know what I'm saying? And it became easy to where it kind of came and went, you know, and had its time, you know. So whatever's easy to do and easy to understand, the world is gonna always, you know, gravitate to that, you know. And I feel like whatever is hard for people to understand, like I know it's a lot of people that probably praise Wayne so much, and I'm listening to him like, I know the average person wouldn't understand that, what he's talking about. The average person wouldn't understand that metaphor he's talking about. The average person wouldn't understand that. And you have some people that could hear, you know, 10 lines back to back and be like, I didn't understand 8 of them. But since it was Lil Wayne, I know it had to be fire. You know what I'm saying? Then you got some people that might listen and be like, I didn't do a reaction because I just listened to 8 bars I didn't understand. So to me, I'm not finna say this nigga raw. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you can't say it's trash or weak because you don't understand it. You see what I'm saying? And you know, I even get fans and stuff, and some fans say, I ain't gonna say fans, some people say things like, stop stealing people's beats. Why don't you get your own beats? All he makes is remixes. You know, stop making remixes. If you stop making remixes, maybe you blow up. You know, all this type of stuff, you know, and it's like, well, Wayne hasn't dropped a album since like, I think like 2011, and you know, he had dedications, you know, all the dedications, dedication 6, all off other rappers' beats, you know, and you know, nobody's gonna say that to Wayne, you know what I'm saying? And I said, I think I dropped about 20 in the past since 2014, you know, and I don't know how many tracks dedication 6 has on it. I know it just came out. You know, shout out to Wayne too. But it, you know, some mixtapes have about 20 tracks on them. You know what I'm saying? It's just in one tape. You know what I'm saying? It's dropping in one day. You know, but I just think some people who say those things, they don't understand or value, you know, true hip hop or even the culture or, you know, what that even means to the competition of hip hop alone. You know what I'm saying? To compare this remix to this person's remix to this remix, you know, or to even outdo. Like, some people just look at craft and they just so ready to hate or say anything negative, like, damn, I can't call him trash, I can't say he weak. So what can I say? Stop stealing people's beats. Like I actually stole this beat and I'm making money off of it or something. You know, I don't know. But you know, I think most people understand. You just have those certain simple-minded people that saying things like that.
When you remix somebody's song, how long does it take for you to complete that?
Just different times. Like I might work on it a little bit today and then go finish it again 3 days later, you know. But I would say if I just was to do it all right now, sometimes, you know, I can go on a beat and rap for 5 or 6 minutes if I wanted to, you know. And so if I do one of those, like if I'm gonna go for 5 or 6 minutes straight, that might take me about 2 hours.
Mm. Are you writing? Are you freestyling? What's the process?
I just listen to a beat and it's just repetition. Like I come up with 4 lines, go back, say them over till I got them memorized in my head, come up with another 4 lines, you know, do the same thing till it's like, okay, now I got 16 bars, I got a verse, you know, stuff like that. And then sometimes I might even go on my notes, like I'm not even working on music, but something popped up in my head. You know, I don't want to forget it, so I put it down in my notes, like, okay, put that to the side, so I got that, you know what I'm saying, if ever I want to come back to that, you know, but that was a deep line or a main line, you know, something I just really don't want to let slip away, you know. And I have little certain side notes and stuff like that. Probably that was stuff I was supposed to use on my Fire in the Church album back in 2016 that I didn't even use. That's like super deep stuff, you know what I'm saying? From God type stuff, you know what I'm saying? The street stuff like that I didn't even use yet. You know, I just have to go back to it and look, you know what I'm saying? I kind of work from there.
When it comes to the remix, you didn't listen to Dedication 6.
No, I haven't listened to Dedication 6.
Okay.
I've heard a few songs that they played in the Sprinter actually yesterday, but I still need to sit down and listen to it, you know, as an artist, you know, to really, you know, sit down, because he's probably one of the only other rappers that's actually he has a different way of thinking outside of the box, you know, and I feel like I probably would understand him more than a lot of other people, I should say.
I was curious to see what your opinion of that was.
Yeah.
But back to you and how you formulate these remixes. You said in the beginning of this segment you don't really listen to other people's music. But when you are going to remix somebody's song, you do give the original song at least a listen.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Because sometimes when people do a freestyle, they remix on other people's songs. They may even rap for a few bars in a similar cadence that the original person did, and then they'll start to flip it and play with it and that sort of thing. How do you attack a remix? Do you ever do stuff like that?
Yeah.
For somebody that's never heard your remix before, but maybe seen it, now watching this interview, it may spark up some interest
I
there.
go listen to a song, and you know, I don't expect every rapper to be, you know, lyrically inclined or on my level or anything like that, you know, so it's like I can see the art in simplicity, you know, and if I feel like it's a certain part in the beat to where, oh, I like that, or I can see how that can be catchy, or if I was him, I would have said this instead of that, you know what I'm saying? I would have said this, and I could have said this and this and this and this and this, and that would have, you know, took his, you know, lyricism way up here, you know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't even use that or say that, you know what I'm saying? Or this will fuck that shit up if I said this, you know what I'm saying? So I hear and see certain things that I'm like, I could, right off the back, like I could easily say that the same way he just said that, but I could say this that he didn't say, and this that he didn't say, and this that he didn't say. And there's probably artists that's like, damn, why didn't I think of that? Damn, why didn't I think of that? Then he's still making the same word rhyme, you know, 10 lines later, and I ain't thinking none of that, you know what I'm saying? So things like that is fun, because that's when people will compare, you know what I'm saying? Or you just show people, like, I could kill this person with their own flow and then go somewhere else and still kill their own flow with my own flow. You know what I'm saying? So certain things like that. And you might have people that's listening that's like, I really liked the part when dude was rapping like this. You know, like that's probably their favorite part, just like it was my favorite part of the song. You know what I'm saying? So when you get to play with it, it's like when they hear your remix, it's like something refreshing, something new. And they can get to go around other people and be like, you know, Blick, you got the stiffy, and the 50, whatever the gummo dudes say, you know, and it's like they flipping that, but it's some other words other than the original song. So people are like, damn, what the hell was that you was just saying? You know, it sounded like dude shit, but that shit sound, you know, better or raw. You know what I'm saying? So like, then man, Montana 300, ooh, killed that shit, such and such, such and such, you know, so just shit like that.
Okay. Has there ever been a remix that you attempted to do, maybe halfway to the point you gave up on it, or you didn't like what came out of it, so you scrapped it?
No, never. I'm super picky about beats, even that I put on my album, and that I do, like when I make my mind up. And all artists don't work this way, you know. Like even, I talked to Kevin Gates one time before on the phone, and he was like, man, you know how you just working on a song, and then you just like, man, fuck it, you know what I'm saying, just throw it on. And I'm like, I really don't, you know. Like I gotta super feel strongly about a song, or I'm not gonna touch it at all. You know, I've had plenty of times when I had a beat like, I don't know what I'm gonna say on this song, but I'm finna fucking kill this shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it just all comes down to being picky about your choice of words, you know what I'm saying? If you don't feel like this is something that's, you know, a bomb you dropping, you know what I'm saying, with this line, particular line right here, then don't settle for that shit and put that shit down. You know what I'm saying? Like, be picky about your words, you know what I'm saying? Be picky about everything. That's why people be like, man, every line or every bar, like I'm not just one of those rappers that, oh, I'm saying this because it rhymes. All this, like, it's either really meaning something, or I'm finna put it in one of the most creative ways to make you as a listener participate and be like, and appreciate my mind and the way it works. Like, man, this dude is different, you know? And yeah, I just don't settle, man.
Your most popular remix was the Chirac one.
Mm-hmm.
What's the remix that got, did you have a remix that was a flop, or maybe that got the least amount of attention, or the most negative attention where you're like, that one didn't work out how I envisioned?
No, all my remixes is crazy viral. Like, I don't think I have one solo remix that's under 6 million or something, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Those are big numbers.
Yeah.
Now, okay, we talked about you remixing. Is there a certain remix that's another rapper did to another rapper's song that stood out for you? Maybe you have a favorite remix that somebody else did of somebody else's song, aside from your stuff that you do onto others.
Well, my 3 favorite rappers, I don't know if I told you before, but it's Tupac, DMX, and Lil Wayne. And out of them, Lil Wayne's about the only one that, you know, was doing remixes on the remix, you know, era. So we'd probably be here all day. But I think when I remember hearing when Wayne rapped to the Upgrade You remix for the first time, like that blew me away, you know, mentally, you know what I'm saying, as a fan, you know what I'm saying, like that shit motivated the shit out of me, you know what I'm saying. I remember hearing that for the first time. I was in college and, you know, going crazy in my dorm room by myself listening to this shit. So that was super crazy.
Do you think jacking for beats, freestyling on other people's songs, remixing, do you think that will make a comeback eventually?
I think it's hard to tell just from the angle that hip-hop is going in right now. And really, it almost looks bad for artists that are signing deals and that are lyrical, you know what I'm saying? Because your label might not want to push, you might not be the first option for them to push, you know what I'm saying? So being on a label that's not pushing you to their full power, you know what I'm saying, it's not probably a good look, you know what I'm saying, for the guy that is actually talking about something and meaning something, you know, like, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of conscious people out there that's has a way with words like J. Cole's, but it's a lot of them that could probably won't have the chances of getting in J. Cole's position, you know what I'm saying? And like J. Cole really is a one of one in the industry, you know what I'm saying? From, you know, dropping the platinum albums with no features and saying, hey, I don't need a radio joint, you know what I'm saying? And people still respecting him and going to buy it, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Like probably any other artist with that mentality or that aim, they're probably not gonna get no backing, you know what I'm saying, from that label. So I don't know, it's hard to tell. Hopefully I spark more people to want to be, you know, more creative with their lyricism and still try to be catchy with it at the same time, you know. You
shoot some music videos to these remixes too.
Mm-hmm.
All of them, or just a select few?
Yeah, all of them. I'm not gonna do a remix if I'm not finna shoot a visual to it. Yeah.